r/MaliciousCompliance. You want me to get the attention of your husband's CO? It's your funeral. So over the past few days, I've become friends with a retired Army officer that I'll call Belle. She's been delighting me with stories of her service, and she shared this wonderful story that I think you all will enjoy. Names and some details have been changed to protect the innocent. Belle was a young second LT at her first posting. As she put it, my college diploma hadn't even arrived in the mail, and I was scared as heck. Fortunately, she got on the NCO's good side and settled in pretty nicely. One afternoon, she was at work when in storms an officer's wife, looking like she was in the mood to cause hell. Belle keeps her head down, trying to stay busy when she hears the dreaded words. "I'm talking to you, soldier." Belle looked up and saw the woman, let's call her Karen because why not, standing in front of her. "Can I help you, ma'am?" Belle asked. "Yeah, I'm Major Mike, I'm So Important's wife, and I need to speak to Colonel Stone. Do you have an appointment? He's busy," Belle asked. "Just go get him. I'll stand right here until you do." Belle looks around, wondering what the hell she's supposed to do. She didn't want to risk her job because Colonel Stone was known around the base for having a fierce temper. "I'll have you knocked back down to private if you don't do as I say," Karen shouts. "Now move!" Wanting to get away, Belle got up and walked towards the colonel's office, intending to get away for a long enough coffee break that Karen will forget. When she looked back, she sees Karen is watching her like a hawk, so there goes that plan. Colonel Stone's door is closed and Belle knocks on the door. "Yes!" Colonel Stone barked. "It's 2nd LT Belle Smith," she said. "Come in." Belle opens the door, does the customary salute, and he immediately notices how nervous she is. "What is it?" "Major Mike, I'm So Important's wife is here, and she wants to speak to you," Belle said, her voice squeaking. "Does she have an appointment?" "She just said to go get you, and she wouldn't leave until you saw her." "I see. Did she threaten to knock you down to private?" "She did." Colonel Stone nodded and then said in a voice that scared Belle, "Send her in." Belle salutes and then goes back to Karen. Karen looks absolutely smug. "He'll see you now," Belle said. "See? Now that wasn't so hard, was it?" Karen said, strolling over to the colonel's office. It's at this point that a first sergeant named Sanders comes in. He just sits down, and as the office door closes, he counts down in a low voice, 3, 2, 1. What the heck were you thinking?" Colonel Stone shouted. For a good 5 minutes, he proceeded to tear Karen a new butthole, telling her that she isn't permitted to wear her husband's rank, and that if she tries pulling anything like that ever again, her husband will be busted down to private faster than he could sneeze. Karen left the office like a bat out of heck, white as a sheet and quaking. Belle never saw her again, but she and the major got divorced shortly afterwards. According to Belle, he realized what a liability she'd be to his career.
As a Navy brat, I have heard all about spouses assuming their husband's rank. Dependa Potomus is one of the nicer things I have heard them called. Try tops.
I was in the Navy for 10 years and somehow never heard that one. That is incredible. I love it. TRICARE is the health care that military members get. It is not uncommon for women to try and get a very young and naive military guy to marry them so they can get TRICARE too.
When my father made Ensign Mustang, I was too young to understand the significance. Once we moved to a duty station where we lived on base, he was LT by then, he gathered all us kids, 4 of us, and gave us the lecture of our lives. If he heard of any of us using his rank to get anything, the spanking and grounding would be epic. The problem is that the military segregates you by officer and enlisted, so people knew you were an officer's kid. I would offer my father's rank and name if asked directly. Otherwise, I was the short, goofy-looking tomboy redhead that the corpsman knew well because I was accident-prone. Good times.
r/just dependent things is where I learned that the assumption of rank was a thing.
It's more common near military bases. We have an Air Force base in town. Go to any grocery store or coffee shop near there, and you might chance upon a Karen who thinks her husband's rank makes her super special. Maybe she'll be trying to wear her husband's rank, maybe not, but she'll still throw it around with her nose in the air.
Too many people from all angles seem to assume that military ranks mean anything, or even should, once off the base, if the person isn't actively in the middle of a military exercise. It's much saner here. If I see someone in the mall wearing a military uniform, They're just another person wearing work clothes. They don't get any special treatment and don't ask for it. Even high rankers aren't celebrities. There's no thank you for your service. The military doesn't appear in multi-billion-dollar movies blowing up space aliens and other macho crap. And I've honestly never heard of anyone in the local forces trying to claim their spouse's rank. It's just a job.
It's a weird but intense minority that does that. Believe me, most military people cringe inside when a random person approaches to thank them for their service. Ick. I tried very hard to not go places in uniform.
I really can't tell if Karens are a good thing or not sometimes. Of course, you have the ones that just do everything to ruin your life. But times like this, you can really only laugh at how incompetent they are. I'm sure most of you agree, being able to laugh is great, and laughing at entitled people is great. What a paradox this is. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this story. Once again, I'm always open to criticism. Anything you guys can tell me will help. Let me know what you guys thought of the story in the comments, and share any stories you guys might have as well. The link to the original post, as always, will be in the description, and make sure to follow for new videos every day.